A past life can be described as an incarnation of your soul, just as this current life is an incarnation. The soul is eternal, limitless, and large. It not only has the capacity to experience other incarnations as past lives, but it also can experience more than one incarnation at a time. The point of life is to create and expand. Our soul is a creation, and creation continues. Eventually, souls can evolve enough in their incarnations to stop reincarnating and stay in heaven as a guide. How long that takes depends on the soul and its involvement.
Hi, I'm Grace Johnson. Have you ever felt like you've lived other lives in the past? Past lives can relate to present lives. Well, here today we have Jeffrey J. Scott, who has been told he's had numerous past lives, and he's here to share them with us today. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, Grace. I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious.
Oh, well, don't be. Why do you feel that way?
Well, I'm anxious because I don't mind talking about past lives, especially my past lives, but I'm also a little nervous because when I talk about them, some people think I'm a little weird, or it's a little weird, the topic. So it's, you don't want people to think you're crazy.
So, Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about how you found out about your past life experiences?
I've always been curious about the other side, life on the other side. So I was referred to a medium to try and reach out to past relatives that have passed and, friends that have passed. And the medium just came across and said, you've had 101 past lives? And I said, really? And she goes, yeah, but I'm only going to tell you about 3 because, we only have an hour here. I said, okay, fine. So it turns out that one of the top 3, one of them was a Mayan king. And that was kind of a interesting one because, it's good to be the king, but not in this case because I was too flirtatious with the women, and it turns out that the men in the tribe killed me off because I was fooling around too much with their wives. So that didn't last long. One of the other past lives that she explained to me was I was a Roman centurion. And back in the day, the Roman centurions were like the police force, which kind of explains why ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a cop. So I finally became one, and then I retired a couple of years ago from being a police officer. And the third and most interesting one was, she says, and at one time you were an Indian squaw. And I said, really? She goes, yeah, but you were killed at 16 during a battle, massacre. I said, really? She goes, yeah, but that explains to me my love for the Indian culture and why I like to watch Westerns so much. We all like to watch certain things. That's kind of like my favorite, especially when the Indians are involved, the American Indians. So those were the top 3 that we talked about.
So, what was your most memorable past life experience?
One of my most memorable ones, without a doubt, is Pearl Harbor. She didn't bring it up. It's something that I experienced myself. I started having these dreams about Pearl Harbor, just out of nowhere, out of the blue. I started having dreams about Pearl Harbor. And as time progressed, the dreams were getting longer and they were getting more vivid. And it was like I was being called someplace. And I would wake up in like a sweat because it felt so real. So I said, I got to get rid of this. I have to figure out what's going on. So I said, I got to go to Hawaii. I got to go to Pearl Harbor. I've never been. So I called up my timeshare place and I said, look, I need a room. What do you have available in Oahu? And he looked and he goes, oh, wow. I said, what? He goes, there's only like 1 room available. I said, well, book it. He goes, you want to know the dates? I said, no, just book it. So he booked it and he gave me the dates and stuff. I said, okay, let me go check a flight now. So I went online and I started checking airlines online with flights, and like $1,300 to fly out to Hawaii from New Jersey, round trip. I said, oh man, I got it. So I went on to like Orbitz or something. I forget which one it was. And I'm researching it, and it said round trip from Newark, New Jersey to Oahu, Hawaii, $650.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, whoa. 2 seats left. You know how they put the little 2 seat thing, one thing? 2 seats left. Booked it. So I get out to Hawaii, and I get into the hotel. First thing I do is I book an excursion out to Pearl Harbor. So we're on the tour bus with a group of people, and we get out to Pearl Harbor. And we go through the gates to check in. And I'm walking around and stuff, and I start to feel this feeling like I'm experiencing that day, December 7th. I'm experiencing the planes coming in and out, and the bombs going off, and the explosions, and the fires, and people yelling and screaming, and just the mayhem that went on that day. I started to experience it. So I'm walking around, and I'm looking around, and I come around the corner, and this artist is drawing this huge mural. This artist is painting the USS Arizona, and that's when I lost it. And I was talking to him about my feelings, and he had said that, yeah, it's quite a few people feel like that. And I said, okay, thank you for that. So then it's time to get on the shuttle boat to go out to the memorial. And I get on the boat. And as I'm heading out there, these feelings start to come over me. Like I'm going out to see my friends again. And get out there, and I break down. And it's just very emotional. It felt like a old home week, a reunion. And then I'm looking at the names on the memorial of all the people that died that day. And all of a sudden it was calm. I felt calm, like I was home. So it was time to go back to shore. Got on the shuttle boat, and I'm heading back. I'm starting to lose it again, because now I'm starting to leave all my friends that I got to see again, spend time with. So get back on shore, and I look out there one last time. Said goodbye to them, because I knew I'd never be back. Oh God, it was so hard to do. Oh God, I felt like I left him. The thing is, when I got back home, I never had dreams of Pearl Harbor again. It's like I finally left them all behind. I didn't know how to feel about that. So that was probably one of the most emotional past lives I've had. That's all about that.
Wow. Oh wow, that's a really moving story. So, Jeff, have you actually done much research yourself on past life experiences?
I've done a lot of research, and there's so much out there about past lives. For me to explain it to you, I don't think we have enough time. And even I wouldn't even know the terminology, because it's so in-depth, some of the terms that are used. But you should check into it. You never know.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories here today.
It was my pleasure.
So, there you go. If you feel like you've experienced past lives, well, maybe it's not so crazy as it seems. I think I may even go and see if I've experienced past lives myself. Thank you for watching with us.